Welcome to this TikTok live brought to you by SuperSport Schools in conjunction with Under Armour. We're having this Heat Gear campaign, and so we thought let's bring in real star players to tell us all about KasiFlavour, the last line of defense. That's what we'll be diving into on this TikTok live. So we'll be chatting with Kegan, Johannes. I'm sure you see him, Mamredi Sundowns footballer, and Kabelo Kungwane from KasiFlavour. Just about everything football-wise, and that last line of defense, Kegan, man. Not many people want to play defender, right? And some of them only play it because I become 90. So how did you start playing defense, man? Was it your first choice of position? Like, where does this football thing start for you?
Funny enough, football first started for me in Cape Town. And then, yeah, I never wanted to be a defender.
Yeah.
If I have to be honest. I think everyone growing up wants to be an attacker because usually they're the ones that get all the recognition, the glory. You know, when you speak about football, say, oh, Ronaldo.
Yeah.
But, you know? So for me, that was first choice, man. I was a striker, winger.
You're a striker?
Yeah.
Hey.
Top strike.
Yeah.
Top strike.
Yeah.
And then afterwards, I think I was about 15, 16 years old. Something happened with one of our defenders and the coach said, oh, you're tall. Come, let's try out to the back. I did well. And then after that, that's where I stayed. And I did well there. And I think, you know, honestly speaking, that might have been the best decision that that coach have made for my career.
Really?
Because if I think, honestly speaking, if it wasn't for that, I wouldn't have had the opportunity and gone as far as I did.
Oh, nice. Let's get to Kabelo before we leave him out. We'll check the comments periodically to see what you guys have to say at home. But, Kabza, man, let's speak about it. KasiFlavour. They say it's about Kasi style, flair, Tiski. Tell me about your role, who Kabelo is, and what's KasiFlavour exactly, man? What's happening there?
Kabelo Kungwane, and from Alex, born and bred, and I'm a founder and a creative director for KasiFlavour10, which is a creative company that does creative work for football and telling stories about South African football culture and style, you know, like all the storytelling and the history of our game, you know. It's something that we grew up loving, and so we just, as a company, we feel like it's important to archive and also to take the culture forward to the game.
To the game.
Yeah.
Umnandi makawena mfethu, because mina say Kasi, as far as I know Kasi is Mnandi. Are you Mnandi, man?
Of course, man. Of course.
Does he look Mnandi?
I mean, we all grew up playing like Tupa, you know, like and stuff like that. So for us, football is very like embedded to like our soul. So I would have been doing this thing if being a Komnandi, you know, because you start by playing and understanding the game, and then after, Yeah.
No, guys, we've got some questions for some journalists, Soccer Latuma, IOL, News 24. So we're going to check some of them out and what they've got to say. So there's a guy called Richard Lasky. And Kegan, this is to you. What advice do you have for those youngsters out there who are better defenders than strikers or midfielders? How do they stay motivated when the strikers are always celebrated? Because we look at the Palando, man. How many defenders have Palandos, right? So how do those players that are not so good as strikers stay motivated playing at the back when you don't even get the applause?
I think sometimes the applause doesn't come from outside, because you won't get recognition like that from outside. It's because you're one of the unsung heroes, basically. You know, your job is as important as the next guy, maybe the strikers. Because if the defenders don't do their job, the team won't win. Because you know, I worked with Coach Gavin Hunt.
Sure.
He said, strikers can win you a game, but solid defenders can win you a title. That's what makes the difference, you know?
Yeah.
Because despite having all the strikers get the glory because they score the goals, having clean sheets at the back counts the most.
Counts the most, ne?
If you don't concede, you can't lose.
Yeah.
But
you can't.
You know what I've realized right now?
Sure.
You see now, when a defender stops a shot or a taker, like they themselves, they celebrate.
Yeah.
Amongst
That
each other.
amongst each other, you know. And like it's such
Especially with
a
the goalkeeper and the other defenders.
Yes, you know, like it's a really dope thing to see, you know. Like
You get defenders like Gabriel. I'm sure the Arsenal supporters will be happy. That guy scores then. That guy in a header, he's going up and he's scoring. But Kabza, let's chat via that Kasi element in Fetu. Is there a place still for Kasi football with the PSL being so intense? I mean, Fetu Gunzi, you're not going to get there and shigisha it, right? Sometimes it slows the game down. So is there still a place for KasiFlavour10? Maybe you can tell us also at home. This is a calling down for Ipola Kasi in the pro setup. Let me know, man.
I mean, for me, I still believe yes. If the players get the right development, they know how to kick the ball first, you know, and they know how to like do the basics right, man, you know. And then from there, I mean, it's also nice for players to express themselves.
Yeah.
But there's places and areas, there's time, you know. And also, when we say Kasi football, it's not about you standing on the ball and like.
So what is it about then? So he says Kasi football is not about standing on the ball. So what is it about?
It's about flair. It's about
Sugar.
like,
It's about sugar.
Yes, like to sugar, and also it's about Ugu Luminator, like a player is going to score, you know. And that's the thing about like people think Kasi football is about it's all about entertainment. It's like it's also about goals, you know. There's like legends like Ace Ntoleng, Jomo, like Teenage Lada, Skara. Those guys used to win titles, but they were entertaining
the crowd.
The fans.
Kegan, were you Nandi? I don't know. I watched Kapstad football, and Kapstad football, I don't know if it has the sugar, or it has the Kapstad fish and chips. I don't know, man. It seems a bit different, right? Cape football, which is where you started, compared to how our players have fun here.
I think, honestly speaking, if you look at a Sunday League game in Cape Town and you look at a Sunday League game in Soweto, you'll ask yourself, Konje, what's the difference? Because I feel like in Cape Town, it's more of a direct game.
Yeah.
Whereas this side is more of a culture.
Yeah.
You know, someone will hit you with a vala, hit you with chibobo, and everyone will go on, go crazy. Whereas in Cape Town, it's more direct. It's serious, you know, we're going to go score goals. And I think that's where it differentiates. Because
so you don't climb on the pole in Cape Town?
Nah.
Okay.
If there is anyone that I don't know of, but hardly.
Besides climbing, like KasiFlavour is not about climbing. There's like skillful players like Matthews. You know? He's very like intelligent, and he's a South African player. Like that's the flair. That's KasiFlavour. You know.
Yeah.
It's like Joga Bonito or Jenga. You know, like Brazilians have won the World Cup 5 times. Playing how they play from the beach to the street.
To the streets.
Like, that's us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But I think because of social media or people are brainwashed to watching English football, they want also our football to be like that, you know?
Yeah.
So, and like, I feel like, like, that's what we advocating for as well, you know? Like, we should stick to us and what we know and play. And No, I hear you. So you'd see that the guys are dressed in nice Under Armour gear. Of course, that's why we're here. It's the Heat Gear campaign. Tell me something, Kegan. They say this vest, it keeps you dry in Attridgeville sun. When you're playing at Luca Pastis, Masterpieces, Muripe, and Loftus, it keeps you dry. So tell me about this gear, man.
You can even go to Toyando.
I don't want to go to Toyando. If there's a place I don't want to go, it's Toyando. She said Toyando. But tell me about the Heat gear, man.
No, so obviously this is the base layer. Well, this is one of the base layers.
Yeah.
So basically it prevents you from the heat and the sweat. So this basically absorbs when you're playing in the heat. You know, sun, 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It's a different ball game when you have to play at Loftus there. Pretoria heat, it's different. You know? So this just keeps you dry, keeps you comfortable. For example, you wouldn't want to play a game where you're wet, you have to worry about, hey, man, my sweater is
a difference, Kegan. Like, I hear it, ne? But Kulmaman discuss, he's speaking to a Kasi footballer. Does it make a difference that I'm sweating? I mean, I'm playing anywhere whether I'm sweating or not.
Of course it does.
Okay.
You know, as a player, the one thing you want is to be comfortable.
Sure.
So I wouldn't want to go out and play a game where your t-shirt is choking your shoulder, or it's choking your neck here, you know. So this just makes it easier for you. So you don't have to worry about the other small things. You can just go out and enjoy the game. You know, you don't have to worry, hey, this thing it's choking me here, man, it's too tight. You know, it's comfortable. It absorbs the heat. That's why some of us, or most professionals, have 2 t-shirts a game. So you'll change the one because you don't want it to be sweaty when you go out. So that's what this does. Basically absorbs
I need
the
to
heat.
get myself some of this. Let's hear what some of the journalists are saying, guys. We had Richard Lasky. Let's go to Diski Africa. Christopher Tube. And he says, let's go. There's another question for Kegan here. What advice would you give to a young player who is about to sign for another professional club? To go for game time or to go for money? I think that's a nice one. Okay, is it about? Because sometimes I was asking my mate this actually the other day that I think I just sit on a Real Madrid bench just to get paid that money and not wonder about playing. So what is it about, Kegan? Game time or money?
No, I think it also depends on how old you are. I'd like to say, if for instance you a Kasi boy, you have the opportunity to go and play for a big team. They offer you a certain amount of money. You know, it's life-changing. You can change your family's life. But then another team offers you maybe a Vodacom contract. Which one would you choose? They tell you you're going to play Vodacom every week. Mara, they offering you a PSL contract. Not saying there's anything wrong with either or, you know, but I'm just saying in terms of the levels and the opportunity that you're going to get. Whether it's for money or for game time, you also have to look at situations. Because everyone's situation is so much different, you know? Because someone can just come from a home where they don't even need the money. You know, they can just go and enjoy and play.
Yes.
Whereas with someone from Kasi, you must think about, I must send money home. I've got a family I must feed. You know, kids must go to school. You know, there's different aspects that you have to look at. So it's a difficult question to answer because from that you have to answer it from a personal level. You can't put yourself in someone else's shoes. So yeah.
The Kasi market is interesting though, man. I've had a couple of my one of our commentators, Fiso, speak about perhaps there's time to start a market, a Kasi, to create a tournament of Kasi so that the guys can earn. I mean, man, there's Phillies games, there's about Champ of Champs, and those have big winnings. There's lots of these games. So I want you to maybe same type of question, game time or money. Is there a way of creating a Kasi economy? Because I think that could be nice, man.
For me, man, it's game time. If you're gonna play tournaments in Alex Soweto, it's all about game time. Because look at what the Phillies games have done for Mfundo Vilakazi, for instance, you know. He got exposure from TV, and then it put so much pressure to clubs to sign the boy, and look now where he is. So I don't think they should look at it from a money perspective. It's more on like getting opportunities to play professionally, you know.
Sure.
Yeah.
Kasi market
It's always been like that.
Yeah. Let's speak about starting really making Kasi football. Economy, in fact, is there a way to do that? I've always wondered. Can we get it on full-scale television with prize winnings as much as the PSL is?
I mean, it's been done by SuperSport, but I don't think it can reach the level of the PSL.
You don't think so? I wonder what you think. You don't think we can create economy Kasi?
I don't think so. I don't think. Because
hear what the comments are saying, yeah.
Because I think the PSL, you know, like should be like the goal, like in terms of competition and intensity, you know. Because once the intensity is good, our national team becomes better. And some players go overseas, you know, like our football get better.
I think it's also difficult for that to happen because there's so much that happens or that needs to happen for you in order to run a club. You need to have infrastructure, you need to have people that's doing logistics, all these things, you know, and that's costly. That's costly. Also, if you look at it, the PSL is so big. They give a grant to each PSL team each month for travel, for all those things, to cover certain things, you know. And some clubs, it's still subsequent. That grant doesn't even
cover.
You know, so it takes a lot, you know. Whether you say, okay, you're gonna play at Winnie Mandela Day in Tembisa, you know, it's still, you need to get then security, because what comes with that is the fame, people's gonna wanna run onto the field,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
because now there's money involved. People will fall in love with the club. Someone or your team is losing, someone will run on the field and hit you with a beer bottle.
Yeah.
Then what?
Yeah.
Let's hear what the people are saying here at home. Zubenati says professional football will lose its value. So which is interesting. It's kind of the kind of point that
Yeah.
you guys
Yeah.
are making. Kotato says, I think we can. There are lots of talented players in the township. So I don't know. It's an interesting conversation that perhaps we can even continue. Let's carry on with some of the questions from the journals. Mihlali Badeka from IOL rather, says to KasiFlavour. With KasiFlavour largely implemented in KasiFootball, are there means to collaborate with Under Armour and promote these two brands in KasiFootball? I think it's a good question because Under Armour is, geez man, it's a pricey brand, right? It's more elite and exclusive. Is there a way to bring them together? Say Under Armour, Nali Kasi, na Under Armour.
There are opportunities, since now we are in partnership, so this is like the first step. And yeah, we will get in talks with like collaborating more together, and also because they've been around in terms of football, they used to sponsor SuperSport back in the days.
Yeah.
But right now they're not in, like they are into football, but they don't sponsor a team, so they also want to come back and reintroduce themselves, through like us and they athletes.
So they're athletes.
Yeah. So I think when the time is right, like we can work on a range, like that's more lifestyle and performance that would like mix both cultures, like how we do it, So, yeah.
Kegan, I've always wondered, I'm sure for a kid even watching this on the live, how do you even get an endorsement deal, man? Like that's not part of the script, right? But how do you get an endorsement deal? Because these kids are talented, right? Kids want an endorsement deal. Is it your age range that gets you a brand like Under Armour? Is it your skill? Like what is it?
I think there's a lot that goes with that. But most importantly, I think it's just doing your best every time you go onto the field. Because you never know who's watching you. You never know. Maybe someone like you can watch, and then you go and tell Karabo, or Kabelo, or whoever. Because then that person that was watching is someone higher up, and then they know someone. Because you always just have to go out and do your best. You always have to go out and do your best, because you don't know who's watching. That's how such a small thing can make such a big difference.
Okay, that's interesting. Let us know some of your questions, guys, at home. If you want to ask Kegan or Kabelo anything, I'm going to go back to the journals. They've got lots of them. In your experience, Kegan, what role does temperature regulation play in a defender's game, particularly under heat conditions? Does it matter playing in the heat as a defender? You're not running, you're largely defending, you're sitting back. Does it matter?
Of course it does. I think it's even worse when you're standing still.
Yeah.
Because then the heat is on top of you. So in saying that,
that's why Eric Mato was so dark. Hey, Mato, that guy is getting hurt by the heat. Yeah. But carry on, yeah.
So then you want to be as comfortable as possible.
Yeah.
And the base layers does that. It keeps you dry. So when the time arises for you to do an action or something, on the field, whether it's to chase a strike or something, you feel comfortable, you ready to pounce whenever. It's not now you're thinking the game is on, but you're thinking, man, I'm wet.
Yeah.
I'm sweating.
Sweating.
You see? So that's the small details that I speak about, that the base layers and things take away from that. You can just focus on the game itself, I
want to check what they're saying at home before we come back to you. Kabza, give me 2 seconds, man. If I a studio, young Pisces. Young Pisces. How tall should a defender be? I have this question here. That's an interesting one.
Honestly, it doesn't really matter with height. I think in Europe, I think it's a bit tricky. But I think what's the defender for Manchester United?
Martinez.
He's not
Tall, Martinez, no.
But I think he's a fighter, yeah.
Yeah.
I think in order for you to be a good defender. You just need to be able to have that aggression, timing, just be resilient, I think. It's not just about height. Height, if you have height, it's an advantage, but you really don't need it.
You really don't.
If you're able to play, if you're able to have the bite, have the
But what about
aggression.
headering, man? Yabo by a cross ipola.
Yeah, I think that's why I say if you have the height,
Yeah.
it's an advantage. But if you're able to if you are short, you know you're short.
Yeah.
You have things like plyometrics that will help you jump higher.
Sure.
You know, so those are things like that you just have to do, because if you lack something, you have to work on other aspects that will help you actually grow holistically as a player.
Guys, are we going to see a defender win the Ballon d'Or soon? I don't know.
I mean,
is there going to be a defender that wins the Ballon d'Or?
How tall was Cannavaro and
In Ikea.
when he won the?
I think average thing might be 1.8
Okay.
average. Because like you said earlier on, like we had the conversation, you said on TV they look short.
Yeah, no, you were telling me that Malibongwe Khoza is huge, and I watched the kid and he's grand. Malibongwe, he doesn't look that big on TV, but okay, I've got you. Man, let's get back to the Kasi element. Because me nangthanda ipola laseKasi,
We all do, man.
How do we incorporate that in the PSL then? Ukuthi make it more comfortable. Because sometimes I watch the Sundowns development kids, and those kids, I think they get it trained out of them early. Off your game, you're not gonna come here and even step on it a little bit. So how do we get more pro teams opening up to because Pirates yeah.
I mean, it depends on like the teams as well, you know. And hence I said earlier, Chambers one is a Kasi boy, and how he plays, it's how they play a Kasi. Just that he's not stamping on the ball.
Hey, but I was watching some of the Soweto
like,
Champ of Champs.
yeah.
Those guys sometimes they go into the ground and then they start. The one dude was having a seizure.
So now, so that's like performative, and that's not Kasi football. Like to my understanding,
That's not Kasi football.
to what we grew up watching, you know. So I think it was like right now, because of videos and YouTube's, it's exaggerated too much, and I think we shouldn't like see that as like something that you can take professionally per se. But it depends on like where you do it. If maybe the team is winning 4-0, like the fans want to be happy, you know.
Happy hour.
Yeah, you know, like there's always like a happy hour and like things like that. So I mean, when Tito does it, sometimes it feels like it's a bit unnecessary, extra. But when he does it, like at the right time or like at the right place, people praise him. When he does it sometimes wrong, like, this guy is overrated. But he's such a good player, man, you know? And
You're playing in a very competitive team at the moment, right? I see the Sundowns team is changing every week, man, right? You can't predict what Manqova is going to do. Is there pressure for you to get into that starting 11? I mean, you're in injury now, recovering. What's the pressure like, man? You sit down every week and you watch these guys.
I think there's always pressure at any PSL team. Because everyone wants to play. That's the beauty of it. So there's a lot of healthy competition. Because the guys that's outside, they want to be inside. So when they get that opportunity, they need to cement a place. So that's also the good thing for coaches to have when it's difficult for them to make a decision on who they're going to play. You know, it's easy for me to say, okay, this is my starting 11, I'm going to play all of them. But if I'm a coach and I don't know who I'm going to play, because all my players, when I play them, they give me what I expect from them. It's a difficult thing to have, and competition is very high. If you look at the Sundowns team, most of the guys are in the national setup. So
yeah. Sundowns is the national setup.
it's difficult.
Sundowns is the national setup.
No. You know, it's just
don't call it like that.
Don't call it like that.
Yeah, no. But
Now you wanna use like the clubism thing that we don't want.
Yeah.
You know?
No, I'm not saying clubism. I'm just saying they're good enough to play in the first 11, right? So it's interesting. Back to that question that I asked Kabelo. Does it get coached out of you at Sundowns, that thing of Kasi football? Like, have you ever seen a player that's come in, is like, I don't know, is it something that they tell you that, no, guys, we don't do it here? Or do they allow the players to
I don't know. I think it's sometimes. I think most of the time it's just a level of respect, man. I think because sometimes when a player does a certain thing or something standing on the ball, it might be looked at as disrespectful in
To
a
the
way
opponent,
to
yeah.
the opponents. Like you don't take them serious or
Yeah.
anything like that. So I think at Sundowns, the level of humility and respect is so high that there's not even room for you to do that. You just go on about your day. I think even when you looked at the game against Chiefs the other day, the team was winning 4-0. Did you see anyone spin the ball or stood on the ball? They just continued playing.
In fact, it looked like they wanted to score more.
Yeah.
Right? In fact, Kegan, there's a guy that's bombarding us with questions here. It's official Junior M, born in 2010. How to spot a natural defender? So the kid obviously, he wants to play defense. How do you spot a natural defender?
I think when you look at a game, you can see a defender based on obviously first of all physique, maybe aggression, timing of tackles where there's a defender, how he coordinates himself, how his presence is felt on the field. You know, because as a defender, you need to be vocal.
Yeah.
Because I need to control the person in front of me so that they can make my job easier. Because if the person in front of me is moving, covering spaces, covering passing lines, my job is easier. So that, as a defender, is very crucial. Being vocal, I think that's one of the key elements, I would say.
Yeah.
Leadership? Not so much?
That comes with
Okay,
that.
yeah.
Leadership. So being vocal.
Yeah.
Being able to tell someone, okay, please, not even, just move to your right, move to your left. Because you can't now say, hey, please, can you please...
So let's speak about
80,000
sure.
people.
Yeah, I know.
Hey, please move.
Nah.
You know?
Yeah.
So is leadership is it about who's the loudest in the pack line, or what is it? I like that question about leadership, right? Because what does leadership mean in a pack four? Is it whoever commands? Is it who? Yeah.
No, I think at the end of the day, everyone on the field is leaders.
Sure.
But obviously, there is those players that are able to lead the team in a certain way. If he says, okay, gents, let's move left, everyone is going to move left. And that's also where trust comes in within a team. Because if you listen to me, I have to listen to you when you speak. So that's also where leadership comes in. Because a good leader is able to listen and to lead at the same time.
Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Let's carry on, guys. Here, let me pick something
It's
from
like
here for you.
Van Dijk.
Yeah.
Van Dijk. He's more like a coach also, man.
Yeah.
Like how you like, you know.
Company played as a player manager at Anderlecht. Yeah, it's interesting. Okay, asibone ukuthi bathini labantu, asibone ukuthi bathini. Normally a new player wants to ease into new surroundings, but has the injury made you want to have an immediate impact?
Coming in with an injury, obviously it was difficult, but I've made peace with obviously being injured. I'm fortunate enough to have the best medical care. That's what I can say, you know. So that also makes it easier to come back. But yeah, I think obviously as a player coming into a new team, there's a lot of expectations, and for you to be able to do that, you need to play or to meet that expectation.
Need to play.
So me having played a couple of minutes and then hurting myself again, obviously it's a mental thing. You need to be mentally strong, and because adversity comes as a footballer, you can't run away from it, you know. So yeah, it's been tough, but I'm fortunate enough to have the right people in my corner just pushing me on.
That's a tough one. Imagine you.
Yeah, no.
You've just come into a new team and then you get injured. That's the worst thing.
Not even, I got there with an injury.
Yeah.
So I did my operation before I got signed from SuperSport.
Yeah. Man, that means they trust you.
I think also the club, that's what I say, like, I have to say thank you to the club, obviously, for the opportunity and the trust that they have, you know, because you can't just sign someone
Who's injured.
You know. So for sure they've looked at certain aspects in my game and said, okay, this guy can add value to the club.
Sure.
So with that, that's also a lot of pressure, you know. So in order to meet that pressure or meet that requirement, you have to work hard.
Yeah.
Let's talk about your old team, SuperSport United. I like Masatanza so much. They they produce a lot of talents for youngsters. Sean Campbell, Tapelo Maseko, Sipho Mbulechis, the list goes on, right? What do they do right there, right? Or do you take it back to Cape Town? But what do they do right at SuperSport? Because we know they're definitely one of the best producers.
I think the scouting, I think that's most important. Because if you look at it, players like Ronan Williams comes from junior ranks.
Yeah.
Sipho Mbule, Tebogo Mokoena, all came as youngsters without no one even knowing them. You know, so it's the scouting, and I think it's also the trust that the club has with their scouts, that if you say this player will add value and will be a star, then so be it. But you know, this thing of football is a bottleneck. Everyone does not make it to the top.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
because the higher you go, the smaller the gap becomes.
Yeah.
And because there's always competition. There's always competition. Always next players coming. So you have to work extremely hard.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that SuperSport has instilled in the youngsters. Hard work.
Yeah.
Because as a youngster, you need to work as hard as the next person, because there's a lot more pressure on you. Because if you don't perform, they're gonna say, this youngster.
Yeah.
man."
Shindo,
No, it's easy.
So
It's easy
talent
to
is
pick
not
on-
enough. Like,
Yeah, it's easy to pick on a youngster than what you're gonna pick on a senior player.
Yeah.
You don't want to be that scapegoat.
Yeah.
You know, they say, too many youngsters. You know,
Yeah,
I can't do well. You know, so as a youngster, you need to work extremely hard in order for you to cement a place in the first team.
In the first team.
Yeah.
Yes.
Manje, guys, how do we get Intwana Zasekasi into these teams like Sundowns, right? Because, man, I think well, in the Cape Town there's a Kasi of its own, like Ikasi Leon Kendao. So how do we start making that more possible, right? Because it's talent corner. What's missing?
From Kasi.
Yeah. What's missing from Kasi?
I think there should be more schools of excellence in the country. Maybe like every province, there should be at least two, you know, so that like when you are young, from a young age, you start to play competitive football.
Yeah.
You know, from like play like academy, you know, and compete with like junior teams from the PSL. So that, because now there's not a lot of teams and there's not a lot of people that can like own clubs
Sure.
and do like friendlies or leagues, you know, because not everyone can afford it. It's expensive. Even with like the SAB teams, like people are struggling to maintain a club, you know. So maybe if through government or SAFA or something, School of Excellence has been there for maybe now like over 30 years.
Yeah.
But there's always been one in Gauteng. Like imagine if there were like two in each province, you know. I think there would be like a lot of talent that we can even like export overseas.
And I think even if you look at it, I think each team in the PSL has at least one person that came through the ranks at School of Excellence.
Yeah.
Yes.
No, and there's lots of them. I think I saw a picture. MJ Matibula posted it this morning. Itlaku, Mapena, Onele Rolwana, all those kids played in one team.
Yeah.
Imagine how good that team was. Kegan, what's different about Under Armour? Someone asked that in the comments. So it's okay, we see it, it looks good. But what's different then? What sets it apart?
I think the ethos of the brand itself and the ethos of its athletes, it's based on hard work, resilience, leading the way, being pioneers. I think that's what the brand has instilled, and that's why the brand and its athletes always are aligned, whether it's with the ambassadors or whatever, you know, it's always aligned to be the best.
How do we get that alignment? Someone also asked that, right? It's okay, we hear the alignment, but then what attributes do Under Armour look for, right? Like what's here? Because like I see it in you, the attributes, but I can't explain it. I see the attributes, but I need you to just give it to us, man. What type of thing are they looking for?
I think just to be humane, just have that, you know, sense of humbleness as well about you.
Sure.
But knowing that, you know, this is what we are aiming to do. This having that hard work. You know, it's easy for me to just come here and be like, but I'm, you know, being interactive.
Yeah.
You know, having that, you know, that
Yeah.
thing, man.
Yeah.
Like they say, sugar.
Yeah,
Sugar, oh,
Having that thing.
You say under Armour needs sugar.
You know,
Yeah,
but
cool.
it's also you as yourself need to be attractive in a way towards a brand as
Yeah.
how you pose yourself.
Yeah.
You know, and that's also how Under Armour has, you know, led the way for so long when it comes to their gym apparel or things. You can see when you look at something, you're like, that's quality.
Yeah.
You know, because when you look at Under Armour, you say, quality.
Yeah.
And that's what Under Armour has with its athletes.
Yeah.
I was patching in my cheat. That's what Kegan is basically saying. Just be demure. That's that's the thing, right? Basically, that's the guy saying be demure. I wanted to ask you something. Someone asked, do you think we'll ever see you as PSL Defender of the Year?
Honestly, that's obviously a massive objective, I think, to reach as an individual. But for me, honestly, I'll always do my best. For me, the accolades, the personal accolades, I would say, doesn't really affect me that much as my impact I have towards the team.
Yeah.
If the team is winning, you know, if we're winning league titles, cups or whatever, if I don't get the defender of the tournament or whatever, it doesn't affect me, man.
Yeah.
As much as
Chat
it's
about that
objective,
element
it's an
quickly.
objective.
Yeah, we can all discuss it because I think it's so topical in football, right? Do individual accolades matter? Because there's a huge hoo-ha now with the Ballon d'Or. Should it be Rodri? Should it be Vinny? I don't know, at the end it's Rodri. But what do you think about the individual accolades in football?
It's a tough one, you know. I think they do matter, but at the same time, I think they should, maybe their awards things, like they need to focus more on like teams, like teamwork, whereas like the thing that they focus on is the individual, you know, because like I don't think like a team of the year is celebrated more than the individual.
Yeah, because Madrid won Team of the Year and they weren't even there.
They weren't even there because it doesn't feel like it's like, yo, they won a Ballon d'Or as a team, you know.
So
Like,
Team Ballon
it's
d'Or
like
not the same, ne?
it's like one of those awards that like people just like, you guys won, but
Really.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe you can let us know what you think about
I, like
the team.
like, I don't know, bro.
Yeah, like for me, I feel like an individual award is basically just like, man, I did well.
Yeah.
I did well.
Yeah,
But when it's a team, you're like, you can all celebrate it together.
yeah,
Yeah.
Whereas if I win Defender of the Season, it's like, I'm going to take my trophy home. I don't care about anyone else.
Yeah.
But if we all win the league,
Yeah.
we all get a medal, we all celebrate together. That's what matters the most.
And George Weah, when he's delivering the Ballon d'Ors, he says in his speech that no, he still shines his empathy. You don't want that? Hey, let me check what the people are saying. but I don't know, that individual element is
I think it's just
interesting.
it's good for your ego, I think.
yeah.
And just to say, okay,
Like your personal, yeah.
people see my hard work.
Yes.
People
yes.
see my hard work.
Okay. Let's see at home what the people are saying. Advice for other positions, Kegan?
Other positions. I think as a footballer now, you need to be able to play all positions, I would say.
Yeah.
As an infielder, I
Yeah.
guess. Because the modern game, you just need to be able to play wherever. If the game requires you to play as a striker, you need to be able to.
Yeah.
But I think for other positions, just be disciplined within that role. I think as players, you need to master the role that you're in.
Sure.
Because if I'm going to be a defender and before a game I'm going to watch a winger,
Yeah.
clips or whatever, doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
So just master the position that you feel that it's for you and that you feel like you'll do well in.
Yeah.
But coaches can throw you anywhere, right? There's also that they can throw you anywhere. And
Would you
sort
play
of
like
have
as
to-
a 6?
Yeah, I have.
You have?
I have. Not too long ago.
Okay.
So that's what I'm saying. Like the modern game, you need to be able to adapt.
And you say you used to
Adapt.
play striker back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wing too.
Yeah.
Yeah, so you can play every single position. That's why
no.
Lebusa went into goal. Remember when you guys, I don't know who you were playing against, you got a red card, yeah. And then he goes into goal. So you must be able to play everywhere. Kids, I wanted to ask you now, someone asked here via Going Pro, man. Lots of kids watching the live, right? SuperSport Schools is about kids. I know we had you on the podcast and you spoke about it, but what does it really take, man, to go pro, right? To get the pro contract and to play at the highest level?
A lot of sacrifices, and a lot of discipline. I feel like people don't emphasize how much sacrifices it takes to get to the top level. Because I think you'll move away from your mother, your parents, whatever, at a young age to go live at a clubhouse. Where you're gonna eat not your mother's food, someone is making food, you know. There's a lot of things that go into it, small things, but it makes, imagine a 16-year-old boy having to move from Cape Town to Johannesburg.
Because in Fairtrade, so I couldn't make my bid in Fairtrade, I still can't make my bid. No, I'm kidding.
I know you're not.
But also, like growing up, that adolescent stage, you know, it's difficult.
Yeah, and I think as a footballer, sometimes you have to grow up so quick because of the environment. Like, there's no time for you to even enjoy your youth. I think that's where some people make a mistake. Where maybe there's a training session, someone's like, "Hi man, I'll go tomorrow.
Yeah.
Because I'm gonna go. My friends are going somewhere. I'm gonna go on Tuesday next week." You know, that's the small decisions that you have to make. Like, honestly, you lose a lot of friends because you'll never be able to go out with them. You'll never be able to, if your friends say on a Saturday, "Hey guys, I'm having a birthday party," whatever. But you have a match in the morning. You have to rest. Maybe the next day there's another game or something. Because you know, as a youngster, you play Sunday, Saturday, whenever there's a tournament. You know, it's difficult. Because as a youngster, you need to be able to enjoy your youth as well. But sometimes you don't get that freedom.
What sacrifices have you had to make, man? Just along the journey, you speak of the sacrifices. What's had to go in it for you?
There's so many. I've moved from home, very young age. I think when I was still in Cape Town, I moved away from home, and I had to go live at the Lambda Institute. We were about 7 guys that moved in there. I think I was about 15, 16 maybe.
Sure.
Moved in there. We were looked after there, got everything there. And then I only saw my parents on weekends.
Yeah.
So like after a game on a Saturday only, I could go home. So I'd have the Saturday afternoon, Sunday evening, come back. Same cycle. And then moved aside. I was 20 years old. Where do you hear something like that? You know, moving to another province at 20 years old. You know, that's something I couldn't even fathom at the time. But
did you have money? Like, are you moving? Like, I'm just trying to understand. You're carrying bags. You're carrying money. Like, how are you moving? You flying?
No,
you busing?
No, I came. So what had happened was, I met the CEO of SuperSport at
Stan Matthews.
Yeah, at the airport for a meeting before. And then he said, no, that was the Saturday. He said, no, the Sunday I'm flying up. Came the side. And literally that's how it happened. I met him at the airport. He said, no, we want you at SuperSport.
Oh, wow.
Because I was still at the Ajax at the time. So I signed professional when I was 17. So I already had my professional contract, whatever. So it was just now a transfer, basically, that I had to sort out. They said, no, they want me at the club the Sunday. I packed my bags. Imagine, I was with my mom at the airport and my agent, 3 of us. My mom didn't even have 24 hours to prepare for me to leave. I just went home, packed my bags.
I wouldn't buy.
I'm leaving.
Yeah, sure.
You know? So that's a sacrifice. And then you only see them maybe Christmas time, if you're lucky. Because now we even play through Christmas.
Yeah.
Imagine now as a footballer, as a pro footballer, December, you only get maybe the 25th, 26th off. 27th is back to training, 28th there's a game.
Yeah, 28th there's a game,
You know, there's no real time off. Imagine I'm gonna fly back to Cape Town for a day and then come back. It's difficult.
Yeah.
It's difficult. As much as you want to spend time with him, it's very difficult. Schedule doesn't allow.
Yeah, no. the football thing is tough. It just needs a little bit of willingness, you know. You need to want it. Yeah. Let's get one more from the journals, and then we get to closing. Kegan, you've answered via making it pro. You've answered via some of the challenges. I think we're all good. I want to check one more here. It's technology peg. I voom. Okay, let's end with this one. Okay, 2 seconds. Yeah, your Bafana caps, man, right? You've got 3 at the moment. What does it look like, the future for Kegan Johannes?
Well, ideally, obviously, I want to represent the country. I think that's the highest form of achievement as an individual.
Sure.
I think being able to say, hey, I'm playing amongst the best in the country, you know, that's, I think, an achievement. And obviously, I hope that there's more to come from that. Just building on the few that I already have.
Yeah.
You know, so it is definitely a milestone.
Yeah.
And it's definitely possible. I think also with the coach now that we have, he gives opportunity to those that do well. So you just have to do well and work hard.
Yeah, he kills me. I was watching his press conference yesterday. He says he told Kutuano before the game that he'd score 2 goals. Is he lying? Like, does he really tell the guys, today, no, you're going to score 2, and then the kid scores 2? I'm like, what? That's incredible.
Honestly,
Like,
I can't tell you, because I haven't been in the dressing room setup like that, where it's a league game or whatever, you know? So I would be lying to you if I said I knew. But I wouldn't say that it's not impossible.
That it's not impossible.
I wouldn't take it away.
Okay. Guys, what does the relationship now look like for KasiFlavour and Under Armour, man? Just to Kubegis.
Yeah, we will be doing more campaigns, and then we'll be shooting more of like their athletes, you know, like tell their stories from like their backgrounds and like how like their brand is associated with them, you know. And then we'll do like more lifestyle things, like in terms of also showing the other side of Under Armour that they don't really like to show, you know, because it's mostly about like performance. And I think there is like an opportunity for Under Armour in South Africa to do more lifestyle stuff with their athletes, you know. So it's something that we looking forward to do, you know.
Okay. I know there's some kids watching this. Let's check quickly via the topic of agents, bro. I always ask myself about agents. Because many of these hotmans, man, you're not sure. The hotman is scamming you. Because an agency contract sometimes doesn't make sense, right? They profit from your success, but they haven't really contributed to your success. It's a weird balancing, right? How does a young kid balance that? How would you advise him? Because these agents come show you've had a few after a game and they say, we want you. Agents, man.
I think, so for me, with my agent, I've been with him now probably about 8 years.
8 years?
Yeah.
Man, you're 23, so when you were 15.
Yeah.
Yo.
So they came to my house, sat with my parents and outlined basically a path or a graph for me. And so far they've either reached that or outdone it.
Have you paid them? Have you had to pay the agency?
I've never given a cent out of my own pocket to the agent.
I don't know, my agency, like, I don't know.
You know,
it's a tough one.
That's where it comes in, being able to see someone's intentions. Like, because not everyone's intentions are pure.
Yeah.
That's fact.
Yeah.
So sometimes, not all of them, but some people are out to obviously benefit for themselves.
Yes.
So you just have to, obviously, sometimes you learn the hard way.
Yeah.
But that's also building your character. But it's better to see it earlier.
How do you know whether it's right or wrong then? How do you know whether this one's genuine, this one's not?
To be honest, they'll show you. They will show you. Trust me, they will show you. They will show you.
I think also like a few things. Let's say now you are injured. Like, is he there for you? Or
that's
like,
what I'm saying.
Yeah.
You know, things like that.
Yeah.
Like your well-being.
Yeah.
It's not only during like transfer.
Yeah.
You know,
I think if I were to mention things that even as a youngster that my agent has done for me, which I won't, but that's certain things that cemented my relationship with him.
Yeah.
whether it was hardships or whatever, they have always been there.
But tell me, do you think as a professional player, is it important to have
An
an
agent.
agent, or you can just negotiate the
Tug it
contract
out.
yourself?
Nah, I think it's very important to have an agent.
Okay.
Because first of all, they know the litigations about how going about a contract, the clauses, you know, because sometimes there's small clauses that the club will put in there that you
might
just
not
see
understand.
figures.
Yeah, sure.
You just see figures,
Yeah.
you say, aye man, let me
Yeah.
sign.
Yeah.
You see, but with agents, they're gonna not only look at one club, they will offer you to many clubs where also if the club approaches you, you just say, speak to my agent. So you can focus on your football.
Yeah.
You don't have to focus on, hey,
Yes.
I'm playing this now. I have 6 months left on my contract. I don't know what's happening.
yeah.
You know, it's
And that-
stressful.
yeah, yeah.
So
That
you won't
affects, yeah.
You won't perform if you now. I have a game today, but I don't know if I'm gonna perform because 6 months.
Ish. Yeah.
Ziyakha, like he's going down there. You know.
yeah.
So that's why your agent is also there. If he's okay, he's gonna come to the club and say, my player has 6 months left. What are your plans with him? Can he go and sign a pre-contract somewhere else? Or what's the case? Are you going to offer him a new contract, or are we negotiating? You know, so it's very important. That's why I say, as a professional, to have an agent.
Okay, let's speak about you're 23 now. So 15-year-old Kegan, what do you give advice to 15-year-old Kegan now that you're 23? What do you tell him?
What do I tell 15-year-old Kegan?
Yeah. Just about what to expect, man, right? So you one of the kids on this live, there's a kid that keeps asking for cone drills, yabo. You are that kid in Petri, yabo. What do you tell yabo 15-year-old Kegan?
I think what I would tell 15-year-old Kegan is we've made it this far. Through all adversity, we've made it this far. So let's continue. Let's continue pushing and working hard. Because I don't even think God has given me this talent, and what I do with this talent is just to give back to him. So I have to continue to work hard, because what I prayed for when I was 15 is where I am at now. And there's so much more to come.
What you prayed for when you're 15 is where you're at now. That's
Exactly,
nice.
if not further.
Yeah.
If not further.
Exactly.
Did you think you'd be at Sundowns, man, just out of curiosity, so soon?
To be honest with you, honestly, when I was probably like 12, I didn't even think I would be a professional footballer. Because that's how
what
slim
is it
opportunity
then? Willingness. So what then drove you to say, now I'm going pro?
I think also when you see what it can do for you and the opportunity that is in front of you, when you see it, someone living the life that you want in front of you, you see these guys.
And then who was like sorry to cut you, like
No, no,
your inspiration growing up?
Growing up, I used to idolize Sergio Ramos.
Okay.
Um,
I'm saying from like your neighborhood.
from my neighborhood.
Like someone who made it, you're like, okay, this guy.
Yeah, Clayton Daniels.
Oh, Clayton.
Yeah, we're from the same Kasi.
Oh, okay, nice.
So-
and he's also a defender.
Exactly, exactly. So there was also, I don't know if you know Janchis. I don't know what is his name now. But yeah, he also from Makasi also made it pro, and that was also just something to look up to. And as at Ajax we used to have, when it was holidays, we used to see the
Cape Town.
yeah.
Okay.
We used to see the PSL team
Yeah.
walking there, the Matthew Boots,
Yes.
Granwell Scott.
Yeah.
Keegan Dolly was still there
Yeah.
at the time. And you tell yourself, hey, I want to be there.
Yeah.
I want to be there.
Yeah.
Imagine that time you come into training 10 o'clock. Those guys, they're finished. They're going home. You only see them then. Say, man, this is the life I want.
Oh, that's the setup.
That- I need to work hard to get there.
Yeah.
And as you work hard, like every step you take, small, you can see, hey, the door is opening. You go.
The door is open.
Don't stop, you go.
Yeah.
You have to work hard. You have to work hard.
Okay, Mbetu. Kasi administrators maybe watching this, or someone who involved in Kasi football. What do you advise them then or maybe a Kasi development coach? Advise them for aligning with a similar trajectory that this guy is taking, How do we, So advise kanjani mfethu?
For me, it's to also like focus on like development and make players express themselves, but always basics, like how to do like free kicks, like
Yeah.
your technique, to be like emphasized at a young age, because yes, Mfundo can play, but he knows how to kick a ball,
Yeah.
like from a corner kick, and I think that for me is really special, because you can't just play football by like just climbing the ball, but you can shoot, you can pass, Those are the things that like can set you apart. Or let's just play simple sometimes. But I think in terms of the development, like they need to focus on like the basics, and they need to be done really well, and at the highest level.
Kegan, coming back from injury, man, what can we expect when you get back? Right. Yabo, what are some of your goals? Yabo, you want to get into that starting 11. What can we expect eventually when you grace the green grass again, man?
I think just a lot of hard work.
Yeah.
Because I'm someone I'm always driven to give my best. So I've always said as well, like the fans should just expect someone that's very dedicated to the badge and to the club itself, and that will always just give his all on the field.
Yeah.
That's one of the, or few of the things that I just base myself around.
Nice.
Yeah.
So
Can you give you, and then let's talk about the relationship with Under Armour then quickly. What does the future of that relationship look like then, man?
I think it's a very good future. It's a prospering one.
Yeah, prospering.
Yeah, no, it's prospering because
Yeah.
we can only get better.
Yeah.
We can only go up from here. What you're seeing now, it's only the start.
Yeah.
We are getting better. We're getting a lot of more people on board.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just to grow the brand itself. Obviously, it's already an international brand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it makes it so much easier. But maybe people in South Africa, they're not that familiar.
Yeah.
People like Kasi,
Yeah.
they're not that familiar.
Yeah.
So now we joining hands
Yeah.
to say, come, let's all pull weight
Let's
together.
all pull it together.
Because that's how we're gonna grow
Yeah.
Yeah.
as one. So there's a lot of growth to come.
There's a lot of coach.
Yeah.
Let's come together, man, as one, right? Man, there's a kid there that's keep asking for cone drills. Do you have cone drills for the poor kid? Like, I'm not a coach, so I'm not going to go to jail and but kid, do you have cone drills for the poor kid? Man, we need to give back to these guys.
Because
Also coaching, though.
Yeah.
I think the best, if the advice I can just give, just go on YouTube and search cone drills. Like,
I mean, there's so much now.
there's so
Like,
much,
There's so
like
much things.
there's so
there.
many things that you can. Because maybe now the drills I'm gonna give him, I don't even know what I'm doing because I'm not a coach.
Yeah.
So just for him to just search based on what he's looking for, maybe
Yeah.
to increase speed or something,
Yeah. No, I think we're good. I think we're good. No questions coming through online. It's 2 minutes early, but I think, gentlemen, we've done the business, right?
Yeah.
I think we've educated. It's been the Under Armour Heat Gear campaign, SuperSport Schools, Kegan, Johannes, we've been with Kalero, also from KasiFlavour, and hope you've enjoyed it. It's been a pleasure bringing it to you. And you can expect more of these then if you enjoyed this one. Hopefully we can bring you more. But yeah, I think we've covered everything, guys. We can get home early. It's 2 minutes early, but I think I might need someone to help me close this live now because the technology I me. Let me, I'll think about